Welcome to the SCORE Business Showcase. We have another fantastic show for us lined up. Have a super friend, photography friend with us. His name is Chris Williams. Welcome, Chris.
Thank you. Welcome. Thank you, Stephen.
You know, it's good to have you with us. You know, we've been shooting for a while now.
Yes.
And that's been going well. But what got you started in photography, Chris?
Well, years ago, when I was slightly more than a teenager, I would pick up a camera and just take pictures of different things. And then one day when I noticed, it was a Sunday, and people were dressed up, and they wanted the picture taken. And I had my Polaroid camera with me, and I was able to take pictures of them and develop it right away. And people liked it, and they loved the pictures, and I was able to make some money off of that.
That was fantastic.
So that's how I got started, and grew from that. Yeah.
Now, what type of photography do you do?
Right now, I'm doing portrait photography. I do event photography, also weddings, and that type of photography. I do some very little landscape, but I'm looking at that. I do like landscape, but I haven't really delved into that yet. Yeah.
Well, it's all exciting. You know, when you do portrait photography, what is the response that you get from your clients?
My clients, 99% of the time, they love my work. They love it. They love how I capture them, how I make them look. And that's the important thing, how they look and if they like it. It's because some people are their own worst critics, as you know, especially the women in particular. The guys, they just take and leave it. Women, they want a certain look.
Yes, they do. They're particular.
Yeah.
Now, tell me, what are you most passionate about?
I'm most passionate about when it comes to photography, capturing a person and making them look at the best they can, and also working with them to make them feel comfortable so they can see the best that they are. And also sometimes even get involved, and just talking, just having a conversation to see where their head is at or whatever. And I just like to reach out to people and help them anyway, not just the photography part, but sometimes they need a friend or a good word or something, to help them along their way. Yeah.
Very good, very good. Now, when it comes to travel, if you could travel anywhere in the world, where would you go?
Well, two places in particular I would love to go. I would love to travel in Europe. I love the architecture and the culture, and that's different from here in the United States, where we get a blend of everything. And also, I would love to go to Asia.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I would like to go to Asia. I find their culture very interesting, the architecture, and the people very interesting. That's where I would like to go.
Now, where are some of the places that you have been?
Well, I've been to all the states on the East Coast. I've been to Canada, I've been to Montreal, Toronto, and recently I've been to Halifax, Nova Scotia. Yeah, and I enjoyed that. And last year I actually drove all the way to Oklahoma.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Now, I can ask this question. What is the probably the best photograph or the best session that you've had? What made it the best?
I think the best was when the subject was very relaxed, and we were both comfortable with each other, and they pretty much knew what they were looking for, and they were open with ideas, and also they were willing to give ideas. And I think that makes it fun. It makes it a good shoot when you have somebody like that, where they're not only looking for you for ideas, but they're willing to give ideas, and also they're open to ideas, different things. Yeah.
Now, what I found in photography, that everybody has a different eye in shooting.
Yes.
And I guess when you get people from different locations, it's interesting how they might shoot. So where were you born when it comes to, as far as photography is concerned? Get an idea.
I mean, where I actually was born. Oh, I was born in Cambridge, Massachusetts.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And Boston, right next door to Boston, Northeast, and then eventually moved here to Connecticut. And my father, he was a pastor, so we traveled, moved quite a bit around different places. And I actually lived out in Columbus, Ohio, for a while.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and
Have some of those places where you lived, have they influenced your photography at all?
I think so. I think so. Like when I lived in Springfield, Massachusetts, and I was like a teenager during the time, middle school, and the weather during that time was pretty harsh in the winter, and but I found the beauty in it. Just looking at it, the snow and different situations.
Yes.
Yeah. And living in Columbus, it was just a big city compared to where I lived before, and the people were different. The people were different out west, and also in the south. I feel they warmer, more open. Because they say Northeast. They say we're kind of cold up here.
Very cold.
Yeah, but when I go south or west, or even when I went up to Canada recently, the people are very warm and friendly. Yes.
Now, from your experience as far as business is concerned in photography, what have your challenges been?
The main challenge is, I think, reaching out to clients. Sometimes that's a challenge where people are looking for a photographer for an event or doing a portfolio and settling on a price. Because I think when people overlook what it takes to be a photographer and the behind the scenes, they say, in this day of cell phone photography, people could take a picture and right away they can send it out, to Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, but they don't realize when a true photographer. I consider myself more of an artist. I like to create a look or enhance the picture to what I'm looking for, not just boom, boom, and also the challenge also too is also finding the right location where the idea that the person may have, or myself, or where we want to do the shoot, and just finding that perfect place to do that. That's the main challenge I have right now.
Yeah, when I got back into photography a little bit more, especially when it came to fashion photography,
Right. Yeah.
I got to see that there was more to it than just taking a picture.
Yes.
You have to look at the foreground, the
Yes.
background, and from being involved in it, I even thought about even taking an art class. All right.
Yes.
Because as you mentioned, you are an artist. All right, in reality.
Yeah, because speaking of fashion photography, you and I both, I learned a lot by going down to New York. When show I went to, I had my flash equipment ready to use and everything, and they said, "Oh no, you can't use flash photography." I'm like, "Oh gosh, what am I going to do now?" And that's a person that's not a photographer. So what's the big deal? But we as photographers know that's okay. Now we're going to really have to use our equipment to them, put maximum attention to get what we're looking for.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. So they put you on the spot there at
Yes.
that moment. Now, you mentioned some of the places you lived. Is there any place that you would like to live?
I think probably in in Virginia, in the shoreline area. I have a sister now that's in Newport News area. In that area, I just like the water. I like to be close to the water.
Yes.
But not an area that's too busy or too overwhelming. But I think that's where I would like to live. Somewhere where it's not too hot, not too cold, kind of in between.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So I think that would be a good. I noticed the weather they don't go to really extremes.
Yeah, Maryland, Virginia area.
Yes, yes.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Now, how does your family, are they involved with you as far as your photography business at all?
Not that much. Sometime I enlist my daughter once in a while to help me out if I know I need a hand in photography. My wife, she helps out too, especially setting up and taking down backdrops and things like that. She helps me out with that. But besides that, really, they love that I do the photography. They send business my way when they
Good,
know.
good.
Like this weekend, I'm doing my nephew's wedding. He's getting married, so I'm doing the photography for that. They don't have to look anywhere. To
Very good,
Yeah.
very good. Now, do you consider yourself as being a creative?
Yes, I do. I really do, because I look at things, I think, a little differently than most people do. My wife sometimes says, "What are you doing? You know, why are you taking a picture of that?" Because I see something in it I want to capture, and I want to use that to create an image, or I have ideas that I want to do that I try to develop and make. But I do find myself being creative.
All right, excellent, excellent. Now, what is your favorite subject to photograph?
Well, to be honest, I love to photograph women. Because women are so diverse with their looks, with their sizes, and the style that they have. And I love to capture that. I love to capture the women. And because I grew up with 4 sisters.
Aha, all right.
And I'm the only boy in the family. And I see what the women go through as I grew up. I think I'm more sensitive to how women feel about themselves and how they look and everything. So I do enjoy that.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, I do enjoy photographing women, yes.
Well, then I have a question to ask. I'm going to have you actually critique one of my photographs that I have. In fact, you know this particular model. Let me just show you. Now, you know who this is.
Yes. Chantel.
Yeah, this is Chantel.
Yeah.
And she's a very excellent model. Matter of fact, I enjoyed shooting with her a few years ago. And this was actually in the wintertime. This was in February. She wanted to do a snow shoot. And it was freezing that particular day. Underneath her coat in this picture, she has a very thin dress. I had my coat on, packed, and I had gloves and whatnot.
Yes.
And when she just had the dress on, she was smiling and everything. I was amazed
Yes.
on how she went through the cold. So anyways, what do you think? How did I do?
I think that's a great photograph because, number one, like you said, it was very cold that day. But I look at her, you wouldn't think she was cold. As far as her facial expression, you know, with the fur coat, of course, yes. And I just like the way the lighting is, the contrast between the snow and the color of the fur coat. And her eyes are so intense. I love that shot. And also, I like the light that's on her hair that's kind of shining off on the left-hand side.
Yes.
The light coming to highlight the hair.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's actually the sun.
Yes. And that's what I like. I think that's a beautiful picture. I
Thank
really
you.
like that picture.
It was I did use flash. It was off-camera flash
Right.
when I shot with this, and we had a fun time actually in doing it. And I wanted you to be gentle with her.
Yeah.
I wanted to shoot, but she's one of my favorite models.
She looks very confident. She really looks confident.
And what I loved about her, all right, she was so, you know, sometimes when we're shooting models and we say, do that again.
Yeah.
All right. They can never do it again because they
Right.
don't know what to talk about. But with her, she had gentle movement. So it was very, I could catch it.
Right.
Right. Every single moment. So and you're capturing a moment in time. Right?
Yes.
And she's very expressive in her movement.
Yeah.
So hopefully we'll see her again.
Yes.
I think she's in Miami now.
Oh, okay.
Well, thank you. Now, do you prefer natural light or flash photography?
Well, if I can use natural light to get the look I'm looking for, I like using that when I'm outside. But in flash, I think I combine them both. So if I can get the look I'm looking for with natural light, I will use that by itself. If not, I use a flash to enhance it, where to a point where it's not overwhelming. But if you look at the picture, you would think it's just totally natural light.
Yes.
I don't want to just, that's a flash. I just use it to enhance the shadows or different looks that I'm looking for the flash. With flash, especially in the studio, you can get the look you're looking for. So I love using flash, and it's funny when you're outside and you're taking pictures and somebody look at, why are you using a flash? They don't understand, why am I using a flash?
Right.
They say the sun is bright, yes, but it's still shadows.
Yeah, it's very harsh.
It's a harsh look, and then, a matter of fact, I went to a mini class about flash photography recently, and one photographer said he doesn't use flash. He just used natural light. But after this class that we went to, he realized that maybe I should start using it. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Excellent. Now, have you taken any classes as far as photography is concerned?
Well, I have taken a couple of classes years ago. I don't film, darkroom classes, stuff like that. I've taken some classes to learn how to use the different settings on the camera, because you don't want to shoot in automatic all the time.
Right.
And just to learn about the f-stop, the ISO, your shutter speed, and everything. Those things are important to learn, so that way you can maximize how to use your camera to get the look you want.
Correct.
Even though the setting, it may not be the way you want, with the settings on the camera, you can change that. Yeah.
Now, I know I'm going to bring up a controversial subject right now. And what type of camera do you use?
The type of camera I use right now is a Nikon. It's a Nikon I use. I started out years ago, like I mentioned before, the Polaroid. Then I had a Canon. And my first SLR was a Canon, AE1. Yeah.
Okay, it's going back a ways.
Yes, going back. Unfortunately, that camera was stolen.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, and then about 10 years ago, I started using the Olympus. I was using Olympus for a while, and I upgraded a couple times. And then it got to a point where Olympus wasn't really in that mode, that full frame. Well, not full frame, I'm saying mid-size camera mode. They wanted to go to small camera, so I had to make a decision what I wanted to get. And the two cameras I was looking at was the Canon and the Nikon. And when I looked at the features and everything, and it's just the way it felt in my hand, that's the decision. I said, what am I going to be using the camera mostly for? And so I decided on a Nikon, because I felt I'm going to be using mostly for photographs. If I was going to be doing a lot of video, I would have done with the Canon. But I see the benefits in both, and even now they come out with mirrorless, and the Sony's on the Sony's out there now with the mirrorless, and it makes you think like,
Right, exactly.
And as being a photographer, you always try to enhance your photography, and sometimes that enhancing your equipment and spending money.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's what's behind photography, a lot of money.
Yes, money, and that's the thing that people don't realize.
Exactly. It can be costly.
Yes.
Now, how do you get people to relax, like during your photo sessions?
Normally in the beginning, I try to talk to them ahead of time. I'll try to find out what they're looking for in the shoot. If they're first time, and just tell them to relax. Don't look at me like, okay, you're going to take my picture, or that Kodak moment that, I just try to make them feel relaxed. I tell them what I'm looking for, and they will tell me what they're looking for. And I just try to be friendly with them, like I'm a friend. That's the thing.
Yes.
If we be friendly with them, then it's easier for them to relax with you. Because that's very important, to capture the shot, that they're relaxed in the shot, or you getting. Sometimes you want intensity, no matter what kind of shoot you look, but you gotta talk to them, make them feel relaxed and comfortable with you as a photographer.
Yes.
And that's the main thing. I have been at events, walking the tables, as you know, and take pictures of people, and then you get one person. Most of the time it's a lady, "Oh no, I don't take good pictures." I said, "Don't worry about it." They said, "Why not? I don't take good." I said, "Well, because I do." And I said, "Okay." They let me take the picture, and I showed them. They said, "Oh, that is nice." I said, "Because I make him relax."
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. You know, it's interesting you mentioned that about relaxing and how you do that. I took a course last year with Jordan Matthew Smith, and he is a celebrity photographer, and he did something on lighting, a 2-day event. And so at the end of the second day, at 5 o'clock, he had closed everything down, basically. He said, you know, this was the end. And I'm looking for him to actually tell me about a book to read.
Okay.
All right. There was about 30 people in the class. And so I said to him, I said, well, you know, what books should we read? And I thought he was going to give me something like, you know, Photography 101 or something of that nature. And he laughed. He said, you know, that's a very good question. He said, I got 3 books. He said, the first book I'm going to suggest that you all read is How to Win Friends and Influence People. and I smiled to myself, and I told him, I said, I took the course. And then he talked about this other book, and then the third book, too, which none of them had to do anything with photography. But what it had everything to do was communication with people. And that's what, as a photographer, that's what we do. Matter of fact, I find that when photographing people, they bring you into their lives.
Yes.
All right, and have conversations. You get to know about their family, some of the things that they're looking forward to do in the future and things of that nature. And of course, with models, they like to talk about some of their subjects and some of the things that they're doing too.
Yeah.
So yes, it's good to be able to have conversations with people. Very good.
Yeah, because the conversation is very important, and that because some people say, "Well, I talk a lot." See, yeah, that's the problem. It says, "Do you listen though?"
Right.
Do you listen? You have to listen, not just talk.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Now, which do you think is more important, the equipment you use or the composition of the picture?
I believe the composition of the picture is very important. I mean, I have taken pictures with my cell phone. And people say, "Oh, that's a fantastic picture. What camera did you use?" I said, "That was my cell phone." They like, "What?" Yeah. I think if you know the potential of your equipment, whatever you may be using, from a cell phone to a $6,000 camera, you can capture a great image if you know how to use that equipment.
Exactly.
It doesn't mean if you're going to buy a $6,000 camera, that means you're automatically going to take great pictures. Because you have to learn how to compose a picture to capture what you want. Because you can have 2 people standing side by side and take a picture, and they're completely different of the same subject.
Exactly. And that could be a camera phone. It might be better than the one that with if you don't know how to use your equipment.
Yes.
Now, how do you prepare yourself to take pictures?
I prepare myself to think about who I'm going to photograph or the event or whatever. I make sure I have my equipment ready, number one, my camera, the batteries charged up, cards ready. I just make sure I'm prepared, and I make sure I get there on time. Most of the time, I'm early most of the time to the event. And I also like to make sure I know what the theme of the event is going to be. I try to go with the theme.
Excellent, excellent. Now, you know, one of the things that we do on our show is you talk about books, and one of the books that we love to talk about is this book here, The Magic of Believing. It correlates with that movie, The Secret. I'm sure you've seen that. On the power of attraction, or laws of attraction. But one of the things I like to talk about is, you know, we talk about many things as far as personal development and things of that nature. Well, here's one on personal development that I think everybody should be involved in, and that is wine.
Yes.
Yes. I mentioned this to one person, and I said when we go to wine tastings, that everybody leaves happy.
Yes, yes.
But I talked to a wine connoisseur one time, and he mentioned, when I started talking about this, he said, "Well, Steve, you have to know about the temperature of the dirt, all right, because of what it does for the taste."
Right.
And so, very interesting. And the reason why I point out this is because it'll take you to so many places. Wines are around the world, different flavors. And remember, what is the purpose of wine? It's to enhance the flavor of our food.
Right.
And that's the purpose of wine, to enjoy that. And of course, one other thing that when you're talking about what's happening in the world, here's a book, In an Uncertain World by Robert Rubin. I'm sure you remember Robert Rubin. He used to be the Treasury Secretary.
Yes.
His name is on the dollar bills.
Yes.
What they have out there. So you need to know about what's happening around the world,
Yes.
especially if you're traveling to different countries, things of that nature. But I really enjoyed having you on our show. All right, Chris, it's been a fantastic journey
Yes.
down memory lane with some
Yes.
of our experiences,
Yes.
fashion shows. Matter of fact, we have some things coming up this year and also next year. We talked about some shoots that are going on. And it's just a fun experience,
Yes, it is.
developing that passion and developing our craft.
Yes,
Right?
I agree.
And, you know, the question as far as you being an artist or a photographer, I think we can put you as an artist.
Thank you. Yeah, I
That's
feel
out
that.
there.
Yeah.
But to our SCORE friends out there in SCORE world, we appreciate you joining us, and to your success in your business. And thanks again for joining us again. And also thank you too, Chris, for coming. Appreciate it.
Thank you for asking me.
All right. Excellent.